After a detailed analysis of Maxwell stress tensor and momentum in electromagnetic field, today we are going to discuss an important concept of radiation pressure. Actually, when a radiation falls on a surface, then it is either absorbed by the surface or it is reflected. Although a part of radiation may be absorbed and a part of radiation may be reflected. But here we will consider the extreme case, that is, at the surface we will assume is either perfect absorber or perfect reflector for simplicity. Although, as I have told you, the surface may partly absorb the radiation and partly reflect the radiation too. And in fact, in this case, momentum gets changed, and due to this change in momentum, force is exerted on the surface, bonding surface, and due to that force, a pressure is exerted on the surface. So, whenever radiation falls on a surface, then pressure is exerted by the radiation on the surface. Actually, this radiation pressure is calculated by two concepts. First one is in fact wave concept, which we will discuss in this lecture, and the another is quantum concept, when we treat the radiation as a stream of photons, a small energy quanta which is called photon. In terms of that quantum nature of radiation, this radiation pressure is also calculated. But here in this lecture, our concern is to find the radiation pressure on the basis of Maxwell's electromagnetic theory. And we can do it by the use of the idea developed regarding the Maxwell stress tensor. So let us consider there is a surface and radiation is falling on this surface, and as I have told you, this surface may be a perfect reflector or may be a perfect absorber or may be a partial reflector or partial absorber. In fact, in all those cases, the momentum gets changed, and so the force and hence the pressure is exerted on the surface. Actually, to calculate this radiation pressure, let us consider an elementary surface element. Let us say this is an elementary surface element, and we draw a normal on it, and let us say this normal is in x direction. And as you know, the area vector is along this outward going normal. If we assume that nx hat is the unit vector in the direction of this normal, then this area, elementary area vector dx, will be nx into ds. And as we have studied in previous lecture regarding the Maxwell stress tensor, that the force exerted on the bonding surface is simply the surface integral, or you can say the flux of the Maxwell stress tensor. So let us consider a radiation is falling on a surface, let us say S. This is the surface S. The surface may be a perfect absorber, or reflector, or partial reflector. Any case is possible. in this condition, momentum gets changed. Momentum gets changed, and so that force is exerted and hence pressure is exerted. This is the idea of wave theory, and we have studied that in electromagnetic field actually momentum is associated with the matter and the field both. So due to the momentum of the field, actually if force will be due to change in momentum of the field after interaction with the surface, there will be a change in momentum, and that change in momentum in accordance with second law of motion appears in the form of force, and as force is exerted normally, so pressure will be exerted. Now we have to calculate this radiation pressure, and for calculating this radiation pressure, let us consider an elementary surface. As I have told you, let us say this elementary surface not ds, but we write it by the symbol dA. As in the previous lecture I have written it as dA. So this is dA, and if we consider a unit vector along the direction of x direction, nx hat, then this will be nx hat dA. And we have taken for simplicity that this direction is x direction, and so the elementary surface area vector is along x direction. Now we know that the force exerted on the boundary is simply the flux of the Maxwell stress tensor, as the force exerted on the boundary is the flux of Maxwell's stress tensor. Or you can say this force is simply equal to the normal surface integral of the stress tensor. So we write this force in this way as F equal to integral over S Tjk dot ds, as we have studied in previous lecture. Now we have to find the x component of the force F, vector F. We have to find only its x component, because you know pressure is in fact the force acting on unit area normally, that is thrust on unit area. This is called pressure, and we have considered this ds in x direction, and so we must find the x component of this force. So fx, what will be this fx? This fx will be actually equal to integral over s txk nx hat dot ds. And you know this k is actually equal to x y and z. So this integral may be written as integral along over s, and this is txx plus txy plus txz nx hat dot ds, and this will be simply equal to what? You know, this will be integral over the closed surface S txx ds, because all the integrals for this term txy and txz will be 0, because in that case the angle between nx and ds will be equal to 90 degree, and when we consider txx, then angle between nx and ds is actually 0 degree, and so this is simply txx ds. So this is the force acting on the elementary area ds in x direction. Now you know the radiation pressure, which is actually the force per unit area in a direction opposite to that of the force. As we are in fact seeing here, if we consider that radiation is falling in this direction, then the direction of force Fx is this, and so pressure will be exerted in just in opposite direction of this force, and pressure is actually the force acting on unit area normally, so it is simply equal to this component of the stress tensor. So we can say as radiation pressure is force per unit area in a direction opposite to the force. So you can write, if P is the radiation pressure, then simply it will be equal to minus Txx. But we know what is this Txx. Now we have already studied in previous lecture. Remember the result of the previous lecture for Txx. This is actually the first component of Maxwell stress tensor, and you know we in accordance with the result of previous lecture that this Txx is actually equal to epsilon naught into Ex square minus half E square plus mu naught into Hx square minus half H square. We have already studied this result, and so you can write the expression for radiation pressure P, since P is minus Txx. So simply put the negative sign before this, and when we will put negative sign before this, what will be our result? This will be simply minus epsilon naught Ex square minus half E square plus mu naught into Hx square minus half H square. So this is in fact the general expression for the radiation pressure. Now let us consider particularly the plane electromagnetic wave traveling in free space. You know, in case of plane electromagnetic wave traveling in free space, the wave is actually a transverse wave. In fact, in this wave, the electric and magnetic field vectors oscillate in a direction perpendicular to the propagation of the wave. So, here we have considered that the wave or the radiation is traveling in x direction. So, in this case, the electric field vector and the magnetic field vector will oscillate in in y direction and in z direction, because the wave is propagating in x direction. And since electric and magnetic field vectors are in y and z direction, so their x component will be in fact 0. So let us consider a plane polarized EMW in free space traveling in x direction. We have already considered that radiation is falling in x direction. It means the wave is traveling in x direction. And so, you know, in case of plane polarized wave, if the wave is traveling in this direction, this is the direction of the wave vector, and wave is traveling in this direction, that is in direction x, then in fact in direction y there will be electric field vector oscillating, and in direction z, you know, there will be magnetic field vector oscillating. So in this case, E will be equal to Ej. Here J is unit vector along y direction, and H will be actually equal to Hk. And as E is along y direction, so what will be Ex? You know, component of a vector in a direction perpendicular to the vector is 0, and similarly Hx will be also equal to 0 because H is in z direction. So as in accordance with our consideration, as we have considered that the wave is traveling in x direction, so in this case the x component of electric field vector and the magnetic field vector will be 0. And so you can see from equation 2 that this Ex will be 0 and this Hx will be also 0. So the expression for radiation pressure P defined in equation 2 in this case will become what? You can easily see what will be the result. So the radiation pressure which is defined in equation 2, you can see this P will be what? We will simply put Ex and Hx equal to 0, and you can see then result will be simply half epsilon naught E square plus half mu naught H square. And what is this half epsilon naught E square? You know, this is energy density of electric field, UE, and this half mu naught H square is energy density of magnetic field. This is in fact UM, and so write it small e, UE and UM, and the sum of these two energy density is simply equal to U, and this U is the total energy density. This is energy density. So you can see that the pressure exerted by radiation on the bonding surface is simply equal to the energy density. Now we know what is this energy density in terms of the Poynting vector. Remember, energy density is what? This is in fact energy content or distributed in unit volume. So let us consider a cross-sectional area, a circular cross-section of unit area. Its area is equal to 1 and radiation is falling on this surface normally. You know, if this radiation will travel in 1 second, travel for 1 second, what distance it will cover? Everything covers a distance equal to its speed in 1 second. So if c is the speed of radiation, then in 1 second it will describe a cylinder of length c. And so in fact in unit time through this unit area, the energy which will enter in this cylinder will be equal to what? As U is the energy density, so energy content in this cylinder will be actually equal to volume of the cylinder multiplied by the length, volume of the cylinder multiplied by the density of the radiation. So, and we know the energy passing through unit area in unit time normally is actually equal to the magnitude of the Poynting vector. So you can say now magnitude of Poynting vector, magnitude of Poynting vector. This is simply energy passing through unit area in unit time, and this will be equal to energy density U into volume of this cylinder, which is described by the radiation in unit time for unit cross-sectional area. And what will be the volume? As volume will be cross-sectional area A into length of the cylinder C. Since area is 1, so volume will be simply C. And from here you can see that this U is equal to what? This is S over C. So energy density in terms of Poynting vector is simply equal to S over C. And so we can write the expression for radiation pressure P equal to S over C. Actually, this result has been obtained on the consideration that the radiation falling on this surface is not reflected back. It means it is absorbed by the surface. So this result will hold only when the surface is a perfect absorber. It means there is no reflected radiation, and so we will use this result only when the surface is a perfect absorber. So this result holds in case of a perfect absorbing surface. Perfect absorbing surface. Now let us see if the surface is a perfect reflector. In fact, in that condition, the change in momentum will be just double. You know, if on a surface, let us consider a ball is falling, a ball of mass m is falling with velocity v, so the incident momentum will be mv, and when this is reflected and the collision is elastic, it means that it is totally reflected without change in magnitude of velocity. So after that, momentum will be minus mv. So what will be the change in momentum? That will be simply 2 mv, or you can say minus 2 mv in accordance with direction. So from this idea you can see that if the surface is a perfect reflector, in that case the radiation pressure will be just double of this value. So we can easily say that if the surface is a perfect reflector, then what will be the radiation pressure P? This will be simply equal to 2U, and this is 2S over C. This will be the expression. As I have told you that we have calculated the radiation pressure in case of the perfect absorbing surface and in case of perfect reflecting surface. If in fact the surface is neither a perfect reflector nor a perfect absorber, then radiation pressure actually lies between these two values. In fact, that will be greater than S over C and less than 2S by C. In fact, in that case, there is a coefficient which is called reflection coefficient, and we multiply the expression with that reflection coefficient, and that reflection coefficient has always a value less than 1. But I am not mentioning it here because our concern is for these two results in this case. Now let us consider the case of isotropically incident radiations. When you say isotropically incident radiations, it means this radiation is uniform from all directions, and you also say this is a diffused radiation. So in case of isotropically incident radiations, or diffused radiations, in this case, you know the value of Ex square is actually equal to in fact you should say for diffused radiation we have for the average Ex square is actually equal to E square by 3, and Hx square, this is in fact Hx square, this is equal to H square by 3. You can see how this result actually is possible. In fact, we know this E square is equal to Ex square plus Ey square plus Ez square. And if the radiation is a diffused radiation, or you can say that this is isotropic radiation, in that case the radiation is falling uniformly from all directions, and so in this case these components Ex, Ey and Ez are same, and so on average we take it as Ex square plus this is Ex square, Ey square is also Ex square, and this is Ex square, and Ez is also Ex, so this is Ex square, and so this is 3Ex square, and so we can write this Ex square is equal to E square by 3. So in case of diffuse radiation, you can say that Ex square is equal to E square by 3, and likely Hx square is equal to H square by 3. So in this case, now we will find the expression for the radiation pressure. Let us see the difference. In first part of the calculation, we have considered that radiation is falling only from x direction. Wave is traveling only in x direction. But in this case, we are taking that the radiation is falling from all possible directions. So in this case, you can't take only the x component of the force to calculate the radiation. And so in this case, we have considered that radiation is falling from all directions, and so we can't take the value of Ex and Hx equal to 0, but in this case Ex square is E square by 3 and Hx square is H square by 3. So now in this case, the expression for the radiation pressure, what will be the radiation pressure? We have just calculated, I am just repeating the same result. P, we have calculated that this is actually equal to minus epsilon naught Ex square minus half E square plus mu naught into Hx square minus half H square. This is the general expression. And in this case, we have considered not a plane polarized wave, as this was the general result, but let us see the previous result for clarity. See this result here. This is the general result. But after this general result, what we have assumed? We have assumed a plane polarized electromagnetic wave traveling in x direction. But now we are considering the unpolarized wave. Actually, in this case, electric field is oscillating almost in all directions. Magnetic field is oscillating almost in all directions. So this is the different case. This result is actually a general result for radiation pressure, and we have calculated for the case of plane polarized electromagnetic wave traveling in x direction, although this result will be valid for the plane polarized wave traveling either in x direction or in y direction or in z direction. But now we are considering the case of unpolarized wave, in case of which the electric and magnetic field are vibrating in all directions. So in this case, you can't take Ex and Hx 0, but what is Ex and Hx? We have just calculated that Ex square is E square by 3 and Hx square is H square by 3. So now the radiation pressure will be what? This is equal to, this is the general expression. Now substitute the value of this Ex square and Hx square in this result, which we have just obtained here. So this will be minus epsilon naught into Ex square is E square by 3, and this is minus E square by 2. Now plus mu naught Hx square. You know Hx square is H square by 3, and this is minus H square by 2. And so you can simplify this result and you will find this is simply equal to 1 over 6 epsilon naught E square plus mu naught H square, and we can write it as 1 over 3 into 1 over 2 epsilon naught E square plus 1 over 2 mu naught h square. And you know this is in fact ue and this is um, and the sum of these two energy density is simply u, and therefore we have P equal to u over 3. This is actually a very important result always used in the study of black body radiation. In case of diffuse radiation, the pressure is equal to u over 3. So this equation actually holds in case of the absorbing surface or the reflecting surface. There is no difference in this result when the surface is either absorber or reflector. So this is the most important result. So you can say this result holds good for all the surfaces, either absorber or reflector or the reflector. So in electrodynamics, till now we have studied the Maxwell's field equations and different conservation laws. Now actually in classical electrodynamics, our second topic will be started from the next lecture, and that topic is actually related to the wave propagation. We will discuss the propagation of electromagnetic wave in different media like free space, like isotropic dielectric, like anisotropic dielectric, like conducting medium. We will discuss the propagation